Traveling the world has been a completely life-changing experience for both of us, but even so, I would say that there were a lot of things that we didn't realize before traveling abroad, and so this is a video about the things that we wish we knew before we started traveling the world.
If you haven't seen us before, we're Eric and Sarah, and we've been traveling full-time for about 1.5 years now, and we are currently doing a full series about travel tips that we've learned over the last 1.5 years. So make sure after you watch this video to check out the rest of our playlist. We'll link it below so you can see all of the other travel tips we have for you.
And subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to see more.
Yeah, but let's get into these travel tips.
So one thing that we always have to remind ourselves when we're traveling is that we're going to have some good days and we're going to have some bad days. Just like at home, just like anywhere else, you're just going to have a day every so often that just sucks. And it's really hard to, sometimes it's really hard to get over that, but just realize that it's normal. It's just another day in your life. And even though you're abroad, you have to have different ways of dealing with those bad days. So we have an entire video also about mental health and how to avoid travel burnout. So that might help you with that. But just realize, and this is just a big tip for us, that you're not going to always have a good day.
It's normal. And there should be no guilt around that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's often a hard thing, is that you feel guilty sometimes, like, well, I'm in this beautiful place, so it should be all good days. But sometimes you just have a bad day or you just feel blah, even if nothing bad has actually happened in the day, because that happens at home too. Yeah. So just give yourself a lot of grace and just realize good and bad days are normal and you're going to be okay. The second thing we wish we knew before we started traveling is that booking places sucks. I think this is probably our least favorite part about traveling, is always finding new accommodations. It's just so tedious sometimes to have to research where you're going, find the top places, then you have to look at the reviews, make sure it's legit. You gotta make sure it's in the right area of town. You gotta make sure that it has all the things and amenities that you need, and then you go through the hassle of actually booking it. It just sucks.
I personally hate this part. I'm not a big planner. I don't like to be planning things all the time, but it's just something that we have to do. Yeah. We even have a trip coming up that we have not booked.
Yeah,
anything.
We just avoided it to the last second. But yeah,
I recommend.
I wish someone just warned me that just booking places is just sometimes the absolute worst.
I think the number one thing that we've realized traveling abroad is that when you go to different countries, everyone is basically the same. You know, like there's good people and there's bad people in different places in the world. And I don't think that should deter you from ever traveling to places, because sometimes you get these countries that have a bad rap, that people aren't very nice or whatever, but you can find nice people everywhere. And it's really cool. You just get to meet new people and, I don't know, just experience just how other people live. And generally they're the same as you.
Exactly. You start getting to know people and you realize their spouses, their parents, their friends of people, their siblings, they're going to work, they're trying to find work, they're making meals. Like everyone's kind of doing the same thing wherever they are in the world. And it's really cool to just learn about different people's struggles and experiences and joys, and just kind of realize that the world is just so beautiful and there's so many beautiful people to meet in the world. And this leads us to our next one, which is the world is not dangerous. Obviously, it kind of depends on where you're going, but as a whole, I find that a lot of people back home think of the world as just a super dangerous place. Any new country we go to, people are just so concerned about our safety, which for good reason, you know, we want to be safe. But I just want people to realize that the world is not dangerous and there are ways to explore it safely. There's things you can do to make sure you secure some of your security, and we actually have a video about that if you want to watch more on that. But just don't let your fear of the world stop you from traveling, because the world is, as a whole, is not dangerous. There's amazing people, there's amazing things to explore.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it's not dangerous.
That's right.
You know?
I have nothing to add because that was very well. And our last thing that we wish we knew before we started traveling is that slow travel is awesome.
The best.
We honestly, when we first started planning our South America trip, we had a big plan to go like from Chile to Argentina to like Peru and up, and it was only going to be like 3 weeks in each country kind of thing. And now that we like spent 6 months in Ecuador alone, we had originally planned for only 2 weeks there.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what we would have done. I want to say like you can't only spend 2 weeks in a place, But to have the extra time and to feel like you have time to really get to know a country or even just a place that you're staying, you don't have to be moving around an entire country. If you stay in a town for a whole month, like you get to learn so much more.
Totally. And this definitely applies more to like long-term travel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, if you only have a few weeks of holidays, definitely just, power through. You can do anything for a few weeks, it's like if you're getting minimal sleep and you're just doing a bunch of stuff, that's totally fine. But if you're investing in long-term travel or you're a digital nomad and trying to go for a long time, really try to go slow because you just get to know so many things and you just avoid travel burnout way faster as well.
Yeah, absolutely. This kind of feels like a bit of a podcast.
It definitely feels like we're doing a podcast right now.
I feel like this is just like all the very interesting things that we like to talk about, even just with ourselves. And I guess, I don't know, what do you think? Should we make a podcast?
Or are there too many podcasts in the world?
I feel like there's too many, but just throw it in the comments. I don't know.
We love talking about these kind of things, the non just like typical travel things.
Yeah.
Anyways, to our bonus tip. Travel is addicting. Now, I need to preface this by saying travel is also not for everyone. So if you're the kind of person that just has tried to travel or just has absolutely no desire to travel, that is totally fine. Please don't feel any sort of shame in that. I don't think traveling is for everyone. There's some people that traveling just gives them severe anxiety and it's just the worst thing in the world and you'd rather be at home, and I think that's also amazing. That's fine. If that's what you love, that's fine. But just be prepared, if you are going out to travel, there is a chance that you will become extremely addicted to it. You will catch the travel bug. And like Eric said at the very beginning of this video, it will be life-changing and it will be hard to stop. And that's definitely what happened to us. We just love it. Now that we're doing it, it's like I can't imagine not traveling. And I feel like I wasn't prepared at the beginning for how much traveling was going to change us.
Exactly.
And now it's like, oh shoot, we've traveled and now we don't know how to go back to our normal lives because we're totally different and we love traveling. So just be prepared. You might become addicted, but it's also awesome.
So I hope this gives you some insight on some of the things that we wish we knew before traveling. Hopefully this kind of gives you an idea of maybe some things that you haven't realized before traveling. And so if you are interested in more travel tips, we have made a video on must-have travel items, so you can go check that out right here. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, maybe like this video, turn on some notifications so you get some notifications that we're posting. And
yeah, we'll see you in the next one because we got one more video for you.